Oh boy, what do we have here today? Well, we have Justin's 2001 Firebird, which is incredibly clean. And he has an iron truck 6-liter and a billet S484 packed in this engine bay where the LS1 used to reside. And he is running a TH400, an FTI converter. He has a 9-inch rear end. And it has 80-pound injectors, LS6 intake manifold. It's running an EFI source gold box. And for today, I said we might as well just run this thing out on pump gas. It's going to make incredible power based off of the size of the engine and turbo. You're going to run out of injector anyway. So let's lean on it, see what it does, see if you want any more, where you want to go from there. So here we go. Now, first hit there was about 10 pounds of boost, and it was pretty sketchy. It was, I feel like it had a misfire. It was also super rich, so I was looking over all the settings, making sure everything was right, ironing a bunch of stuff out, and I'm like, man, I wonder if this thing has a bad plug or wire or something else. So, cleaned up the fuel a little bit, made some consecutive hits, and identified an issue. Now you can hear on that hit, it just sounded flat. I'm going to show another clip of it. You can see where it's struggling and the front end is bouncing around and whatnot. It's basically misfires. I had the fuel and everything else was cleaned up. I had gone over all my ignition dwell, a bunch of other playing around. So the next was for me to physically check out the coils, plugs, wires, maybe even pull some plugs and make sure the gap, even though he said it was 22. So just some of that stuff you just got to go over. I anticipated it being burned plug wires just from looking at the turbo kit. Yeah, and I barely rolled into it there, and it just stumbled on its face. So I was like, all right, let's pull some stuff. And just quickly looking in the engine bay, I could see 2 of the plug wires were burned. We pulled them apart. They looked like chewing gum and burnt chicken. So he had spares. We swapped them on, and we were able to make a bunch of pulls before melting the new ones. So you can hear this immediately cleans up, picks up like 150 horsepower. Well, we had like at least 2 bad cylinders that we had found. So listen to the difference. And of course the thumbs up means things are moving in the right direction. So full speed. I could hear that nice fireball like a subwoofer in the car. We were clearing 750 pretty easily. And like I had said to him, this is pretty much as far as 80s would usually go, but he had some room left. He has a very efficient fuel setup, and he's feeding 2 half-inch rails and then a regulator. So a lot of people, you know, I could tell you, explain this to you all day long of why some fuel setups go farther than others, but he was primed to be the record holder for a horsepower number that I have tuned on 80 pounders on pump gas and methanol. So we kept on pushing. The next hit or two made 775-ish. One of them I hit boost cut. I'll include that one. And here we go. And man, I wanted 800 rear wheel so bad, but it just really did not want to go over that. It made 790 a bunch of times and just diminishing gains after that. So I didn't want to hurt this thing awesome enough that it made what it made. Okay guys, and quick with the follow-ups here on the dyno plots. Hopefully I don't cough and explode my face into the microphone here. I am struggling. Speak of the devil. This is obviously some misfire boo-boo shit going on here. And like I said to him, the first hit was 10 pounds and a 6-liter with a billet 85 millimeter. Making 460. I'm like, yeah, I mean, he brought it because he had concerns that it wasn't making the power it should. So after I reviewed like parts of the turbo kit and some stuff in the tune and just a bunch of stuff, you know, he left better educated. They're going to try to change the plug wire setup on the car, and now he knows everything else is safe and happy. So I was able to get this 460 to about 500. And then this is where there was still, I'm like, man, it should still be making like 100 more horsepower than this easily. So it still had a little bit of a misfire. It was still giving me issues here. And then right about here is where I added boost, and it was way worse. So I'm like, okay, this is one of those things I do where if it's stumbly here and you can't fix it, you add a little bit of boost, and if it stumbles really bad, you can tell it's probably an ignition issue. You push the issue until you find it. Everything else looked okay, so I was like, yeah, for sure. Like I even lifted this one super early. I'm like, bro, we're pulling your ignition stuff out real quick and looking at everything. I said, no fault of your own. You might have gotten plugs from the store and one of them might be broken, as I always show and tell people. It's easy to crack the porcelain. You can get them broken, blah, 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 blah. Even if they're brand new, doesn't always mean they're good. Look up Real Street Performance on new means never ever worked. Not necessarily good or bad. Anyway. Yep. I lifted even earlier. This is what I was doing here is changing dwell settings, and we were messing with the plug wires till we found 2 that were totally crispy fried chicken. And then this is the same boost. This is literally our gain. Let's look at that. That is this guy to this guy, and it was still rich. I trimmed a little bit of fuel, and boom, picked up another 40 horsepower. And I mean, obviously, this is starting to look pretty happy for this combo. And then we soldiered on, and I did a little bit of boost, a little bit of timing every time. A little bit of boost, a little bit of timing. You can see these numbers just going up and up and up, and fuel pressure looked good, and injector duty cycle looked good. And I pushed the issue a little bit more. And oh, we can't run that many dyno plots, Matt. Chill with the dyno plots. Let's delete the small fries. Well, let's just delete them all. Anyway, where was our good So we'll start loading up these guys. 730, 760, 780. Up top here is where I was interpolating into a lower timing zone. There's nothing else funny going on here as far as like knock retard or any other safeties kicking on. Everything in the car was working extremely well. Pump gas and methanol. And then like I will show you here, this is where I goobered something here, but we almost made a good number. And then I pressed it hard here, and this is where I hit boost cut. And I wish I had just turned up boost cut a little bit more. It probably would have just nicked off like an 801 there. And then we tried to hit it again, and we got similar numbers. And I was like, well, you know, I'm not going to red mist myself into hurting your engine. It doesn't want to go anymore. So we settled on about 20 pounds of boost and 13 degrees of timing through down this almost 800 rear wheel through a TH400 and a 9-inch and slicks. So obviously you don't need a professional to tell you that a 6-liter and a billet 84 millimeter turbo is a powerhouse, but you can let these numbers speak for it. He's going to see what he wants to do. Obviously, he's getting a little bit of the ethanol bug itch there, but holy shit, what can't you do with this much power? So he's going to decide whether or not he even wants to really crank it up at this point, see how it is for a while. But like I told him, you know, if maybe Snake Eater 1500's in here, you know, he could go like, he could make close to 1,000 horsepower on E. I said 1500s. The thousands would get him a little bit farther. If he wants to go ethanol, I'd say we go 1500s. I think my buddy Caesar has made a couple cars that make like 930-ish. He was thinking about going right to the 210s also. But like I said to him, that's a hole, like a rabbit hole. Like, do you want to be able to make that much? Do you want to be able to change the fuel, the ethanol content? Is 790 on pump and meth not enough? Those are all self-evaluation things you have to go over, you know, figure out what you want to do. So he said he just pretty much wants a fun street car to race sometimes. And I'm like, yeah, buddy, that's what you got. So any questions on this setup, let me know. Other than that, I think everything was fairly simple. I think the only thing I missed when I did a quick overview was fuel pumps. He has Racetronics twin 320s, I believe, in the tank. That nice kit they sell. So that's about it. Let me know. See you later. Bye.